Pop Culture, hosted by Steve Ludwig on Planet Ludwig. Classic pop culture. It's classic pop culture. Classic pop culture.
And you just heard our classic pop culture theme song, performed, written, and produced by Joe Mandica. Thank you, Joe Mandica. Joe is Australia's gift to the world of pop music, everybody. And he is a true friend of the show. We just heard him singing our theme song. And hi, everybody. This is your fellow fan of pop culture, Steve Ludwig, welcoming you to another edition of Steve Ludwig's Classic Pop Culture, right here at PlanetLudwig.com. We've all landed safely and peacefully at Planet Ludwig. And here we are, show number 183. And our guests include the three newest cast members of the award-winning anime web series END TITUS VDM. Debbie D, Tara Erickson, and Victoria Savage. And they'll be joined by the actor who voices the main character Robert in END TITUS, our buddy Solomon Chertok. Now, we recorded our interviews in two segments, and we had a lot of fun. First, we zoomed with Victoria, Debbie, and Solomon, and then we spoke with Tara. Oh, and I have a special announcement at the end of the show regarding END TITUS, so let's get to it. Starting off the party are Debbie D, Solomon Chertok, and Victoria Savage. And you talk about a talent overload on today's show. Wow, we have two of the newest members of END TITUS and our returning champion, Solomon Chertok. We have, for the first time on the show, and I hope the first of many appearances, Victoria Savage, actress, writer, producer, musical theater veteran, dancer. Victoria, you do it all. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm even more excited having you on, and I'm so happy we got to have you on. Also joining us for her third appearance on the show, dating back, oh my goodness, when we started in 2013. For her third appearance, we have actress, singer, model, writer, producer, the ultimate screen queen herself, Debbie D is back. Debbie, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
It's a wonderful summer. I hate to have this summer leave.
I know. Well, maybe we can all move to visit Victoria in California.
That would be amazing. I would love that.
And returning, and actually I asked Solomon Chertok, actor, producer, writer, director, I asked Solomon if being he's been on quite a few times, if he can co-host the show with me today. And Solomon had a great idea. He said, why don't we just have four co-hosts? So Victoria, Debbie, anytime you want to throw something in there, ask a question, we're all one host here, okay? So it's an open part. Great.
Excellent.
Now, Solomon in END TITUS, he plays the character Robert and also Mark. Victoria, you play the character of Susan, new character coming on in episode 9. What can you tell us about Susan?
Susan was so much fun to play. I don't want to give too much away because there was a little twist.
Mm-hmm.
There's a twist with her character, but you really get, I'll just say this, you get to see two very different sides of one character.
You must love that as an actress, Victoria.
Absolutely. It's a good chance to stretch yourself and just have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And Debbie, you play Sherry in END TITUS. What can you tell us about Sherry? And we're on a no spoiler zone here. We don't want to give too much away.
Yes, I realize that. She's She's like a punkish a troublemaker.
So you would typecast.
Yes.
So, Solomon, I want you to give us a nice synopsis of the first 8 episodes, and then I have a question I want to come back to with Victoria and Debbie. But before, for those of you watching who haven't had a chance yet, you can check out. Well, there are going to be 9 episodes for the first season. We finished 8, and of course, throughout the show, you'll see the all of our web addresses and all on screen. But ENDTITUS VDM.com. And Solomon, can you give us a brief synopsis of what's happened so far in the first 8 episodes?
Well, apparently in this whole series is about this demon named Titus, who's basically trying to be resurrected by his followers. And my character, Robert, is basically this intellectual guy who's stuck at this 9-to-5 job that he's not being really appreciative. He's in a relationship that's sort of on the outs.
Typecast again, huh?
There you go.
Also
And
typecast.
this guy named Charles, who Charles is this tough guy, ladies' man, who happens to be fighting these demons for such a long time that he needs his help. And at first, Robert is like basically thinking, okay, this guy is a little bit nuts, but then again, he needs that sense of adventure in his life. So basically, within these episodes, they've been going on these adventures, battling these demons, and there's another female warrior that's been fighting these demons, voiced by Catherine Black, who plays Jasmine, who's also on a collision course to stop Titus from coming and taking over the world, in a sense. Mm-hmm. And each episode and each adventure, as they try to stop Titus and try to stop every demon that they come across of, they get to know a little bit more about each other. They get to meet other people like the Fixer, who's one of Charles's friends, voiced by you, Mr. Steve Ludwig.
Trying to voice by me.
He makes all the gadgets and more smarter than my character. And even have met like Ranger Monica, a former flame of Charles's character. And that was in episode 7, voiced by Demi Davis. And basically, right now, they're at a point where they've been basically kicking ass all season, learning about each other. And my character has been more appreciative in terms of the this is what he's wanted. He's sort of the Luke Skywalker in this series, where the other guy is the Han Solo. And basically now, where the episode 8 left off, he wants to get back with his girlfriend, who's voiced by Claudia Nagoyan, who voices Megan, who was in episode 1 and 2. And he wants to get back to that relationship. He wants to work on it, even though she has no clue what he's been doing in his adventures. And episode 9, she's gonna find out, we could say at her birthday party, which may not go the way she wants a birthday party to go.
Might not be a happy birthday. We don't know.
Yeah, it's a different type of birthday, you know. But she's gonna soon find out, you know, what he's been up to this whole time, and it'll be curious to see how she reacts to that little development. Mm-hmm. But that's what all the episodes have been so far.
Mm-hmm. Victoria, I know you've done voiceover work on commercials and things like that. Is this the first time you've done voiceovers in like an animated series, or have you done voiceovers besides your commercial work, which are great, by the way? I saw the Dunkin' Donuts one.
Oh, thank you. This is not the first time, so I really have to give Solomon huge thanks, because he also introduced me to another, it's not an animated series, but it's another, it's like an audio series. Mm-hmm. So I've done X-Men and
okay, I was going to ask you what that was.
So I've done X-Men. and a couple of others, but this is my first animated series, and it's super exciting to see the vision, like to provide the voice and then see the other artistic side of it. So yeah.
Is it? I'm going to ask you this as well, Debbie. But Victoria, being we're talking with you now, is it tougher to voice over or to be in front of a camera, or are they equally inspiring and difficult? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're different, of course. I did like the voiceover because I felt like I could pretend I was someone else without being visual. So I did like that aspect of it. I did love this. I love doing this. And I just like you had said, when you do the voiceover, give them something to pick, choose from. And in acting, there's so many ways to deliver something. So I just chose 3 and gave them totally different. And I'm really anxious to see how it worked out. But I definitely would want to get more involved with this. Yes.
Debbie, is this your first voiceover work?
I think I've done it before, but not at this level. I've been in the business a really long time. So I've been searching my brain for that. I think this has to be the first major thing I've done, with this really very clever story. Yeah.
Victoria, what do you see different between voiceover work and being in front of the camera?
Well, I guess interaction. I love voiceover because, as Debbie said, it's fun to just relax and be free and sort of let whatever comes out come out. I do also, though, enjoy acting with other actors.
Yes, right.
I guess it's my theater background, but
you heard me. I have wasted 15 long years in this sham of a marriage to you. You're weak, you're good for nothing, and you're tired-ass can't provide a decent living for me and your kids. You ain't shit.
Who the fuck you think you're talking to?
But you're dead.
What?
Well, I'd have to go to law school and... Because you can see beyond this constrained world we live in.
No.
maybe it was a vampire. What?
Couldn't have been a vampire.
I see here that you're in a constant state of arousal. Is that true?
Yeah. It's starting to get a little painful. What can you do to stop it?
Well, many sexual dysfunction issues are psychologically self-induced.
Your roommate was killed, and you don't remember anything?
I found him laid out like a corpse and called 911.
And that's all you remember?
Yep. Can I get back to work now?
Go.
And how do you know, Victoria, when you just have a gut feeling that, okay, this is the take I like, this is what I'm going to send to Delmar? Because
yes, well, I have.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have something I'm aiming for, and so I try my best to do that, and then like Debbie said, I do a few takes in case he wants something else, you know. And then it's fun. Voiceover is really fun because there's sort of a musical quality to it, you know, like is your inflection something that you're aiming for, or would, you know, is this part a little flat and then you do it over? So I don't know, it's been kind of fascinating, the whole process.
So, how about you, Debbie? What do you find much of a difference between voiceover acting and acting in front of the camera? What are the pros and the cons?
Well, you can do it anytime you want. So it could be the middle of the night if you feel like I don't want to spoil this. So I guess certain things you can do louder and when you're feeling it more than just feeling the pressure that you had to be on right at that second, which usually can come natural when you do love what you're doing. But voiceover has more freedom.
There was something in episode 9 script that the fixer is in, and there was one word that Delmore got back to me and said, could you just do this one word differently? And I mean, Victoria and Solomon and Debbie, I mean, you guys are certainly familiar with this, but I'm saying one word, like how can I get something across in just one word? But you must come across that all the time, Victoria and Solomon. Not that you're being asked to redo something, but how you have to emote in just sometimes a look or just a word.
Yeah, actually, Solomon, I'm interested in your process because you've been doing so many of these. Like, how did you get into voiceover, and what's your process for it?
Excellent question, Victoria.
One, I've been doing voices my entire life since I was born. I had to make all these voices. I needed to sound like this. I don't know why. Or I could sound like Elmo. Hey, Victoria, how are you?
Wow.
Okay, you're scaring me now, Solomon. No.
That's your Steve. But whatchamacallit, I mean, for me in general, like when I auditioned for him, and that was the whole thing with the audition process. I actually auditioned for the role of Charles, not for Robert. And I went in, okay, because he wanted for Charles this tough guy, ladies' man, like Wolverine type of character. And I gave him what I thought in the recording. And he was like, well, you know what? It wasn't exactly what he was looking for, but he liked the voice. And he said, you know, there's this other character named Robert. He's the intellectual, the nerdy one. And he sent me the lines for it. So I did it. And I ended up getting it. And then basically from, okay, that's the type of voice he wanted, the kind of like Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Allen type of voice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I ended up going for, which is sort of kind of to my regular voice in a sense. But the way I've been treating it in general, my process is I treat this just like as if we were shooting an actual movie or TV series live. I basically, when I get the script, I break it down. I try to look to see, you know, with each beat, like how many lines there are. And I rehearse every single, even though you can record, you don't have to memorize your lines. I try to rehearse every line. So this way, when I record it, it sounds natural. Because the one thing you don't want to sound is wooden, like you're reading the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
One thing you don't want to do is sound flat. Because the one thing is you want to make it sound natural, like you're actually on the set filming. The one thing that was a little bit different, though, and this was in episode 8, when he asked me to do the Mark role, which was so last minute because the actor who was supposed to do that got into some type of accident, had to back out, and he asked me very last minute, could I do like a stoner voice for this character? And I basically
again, typecast.
There you go. So it was like a Bill and Ted, Wayne's World type of voice. And it was very last minute, so I had no prep for it. So I could do the voice, which would be like something like Steve, Debbie, Victoria, and dudettes, what's going on? This is so wild, you know? So I basically, you know, with the 2 scenes I had to do, just did it basically without any practice, just do it like that, hoping to God that was correct. And he loved it. And
I loved it.
I know you loved it, Debbie. You always love it. You know, and that's the one thing I love in episode 8, which is online, is that a lot of people don't realize that's me. And I'm actually, there's a scene between Robert, Charles, and the character Mark, and they don't realize that's me as both characters.
Sure. Hi, could I get 2 orange drinks and 2 bags of chips, please?
Sure. Would you also like to try one of our ice candies? They're really good.
Yeah. No one realizes that. And the thing is, I did that on such little prep in terms of, you know, but to me, I always like to have as much time to rehearse, to make the lines feel like, you know, you're on set. because you can cheat it, you know, have the script right in front of you, but to me, it's like, make it feel as real as possible, because otherwise the audience can pick up on it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as indie filmmakers, we'll go around the horn. I want to ask each of this. It seems to me that, and please correct me if I'm wrong or if you have another view, but it seems to me as an indie filmmaker, you actors have to be even more creative, because you don't have, sometimes you do have quite a budget, but other times you don't. Do you find that being an indie filmmaker really adds to the creativity of getting something done? Debbie?
Okay.
Yes. I think a lot of times you get creative on the spot. I find that with myself, even when I write, I have no idea what I say. Oh, what am I going to write? What am I going to write? But as soon as I get behind the keyboard, it just flows out. I feel like I don't even have control over it. It's not really me. I'm just being the vehicle to get it out there, because I read it back. I'm like, I didn't write that. And I did. I know I typed it. I know I wrote it. So I think with acting too, you just get on there and you just go, and people are like, oh, that was so great. And you don't even know. You just, this is the way it is. And you just become.
Isn't that something, Debbie, and Solomon and Victoria too? When sometimes you're writing it, but it's as if you're being overtaken by your character. You find that, Victoria?
Yes, actually, my most recent thing that I'm writing is a web series, and it was like born fully formed. You know, these characters just sort of popped into being without me like working that much on them. They just sort of appeared, and I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, I better write this down.
Okay, I guess we're gonna go there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How about you, Solomon? I'm sorry, Victoria. I just stepped up.
No, go ahead.
No, how about you, Solomon? You feel the same way, that as an indie filmmaker, many times your creativity has to really take full hold?
I think it always depends on the project. And with this project END TITUS, one thing that I've learned, and I think, Steve, you definitely agree, always expect the unexpected. And
yeah,
Elmar has definitely, because I can tell you from episode 1 all the way, now we're down to the last episode for season 1. It has not gone the way I thought it was going to go in terms of my predictions of where this thing, what was going to happen, what wasn't. I was completely wrong in every single one of my predictions. So the whole thing is basically, okay, shut up, go with the flow.
Yeah.
Because the one thing he didn't give us an outline and say, here, this is A, B, C, D, we have to go this way. It was basically, he gave us every script and we went with it. And the thing is, I mean, it would be nice if we knew like beforehand the outline of where were we going. But at the same time, it was pretty good not knowing what was going to happen, because there was sort of a fun with it. Because to me, and this is where I feel like this series thrives, it feels like those old-fashioned serials from the 40s. You know, like those 1940s, like Flash Gordon or Batman, or even the Batman 66 with Adam West, where they had that serial feel where tune in next week, next time, you know, same bat time, same bat channel. And especially more modernly was the Kiefer Sutherland 24 show, where that thing was basically, you know, every hour.
Cliffhanger every week. Yeah.
And going back to one thing we always joke about, nobody was safe on that show. Everybody could get killed. Anybody could get killed off. And that's one thing about Delmar. He's doing a lot of risks on this show. No one is safe. And basically, you know, that's the thing about it, being surprised by him in terms of what's going to happen, where's this going. And that's why for this project in particular, I shut up. I trust Delmar. He knows where, he's the Kevin Feige on this for all the Marvel references. You know, he knows where this is headed, both this and hopefully with season 2, which I can't wait to see what that would be like. And
you know what's good, Solomon? You and I have spoken about this. Even if a character happens to be killed off or something, right? Like, let's just say the fixer is killed off. I mean, there's always a chance that I'm not going to put myself in your class, the three of you, but an actor can always reappear in season 2 as a different character. So that's always fun too, to know, like, holy smokes, if I'm out of the show, what's going to happen? And Delmar, like you said, you never know what he has up his sleeve.
It's a good thing you mentioned that, because on episode 9, this new episode, which is going to be coming out, we do
Salma, when about is it going to come out? Sorry to interrupt, but when about for those?
Well, the target is September, but I do implore everybody, go on the END TITUS VDM website, endtitusvdm.com, for all the information for the exact dates, whenever. So that will be on there. Just always check on the website. So hopefully September. But the big thing is, as what you said, Steve, we actually do, as an example, Deanna Day, who is the voice of the demon Gloria Francis, which my character Robert and AJ Velasquez's character Charles had to battle for a couple episodes, is coming back in episode 9 as a different character named Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. As an example, Deanna's going to be back, and I can't wait to hear what voice she's going to be doing on that episode, because that'll be her second character. That's the one thing that I would not be surprised in the future with Victoria and Debbie, and even Tara as well. I would not be surprised you guys coming back doing different voice roles, because I know, especially with you, Victoria, and you, Debbie, you can do all these different voices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's another plus, to doing audio stuff, is that, like Solomon just said, you can come back.
Yeah.
I mean, Solomon just played 2 characters in the same scene. Like, that's amazing. So
well, once again, I hate to keep picking on Solomon, but he often talks to himself, Victoria. So I don't think he had too much of a problem there. But all right, now I have to ask the three of you this question. I touched on it a little bit before, but when you get a script, and if it's not complete, for me, in a fun way, I'm wondering what's going to happen to my character. And when you're talking to the director or something, this is for the three of you, and you know that that director or the writer knows what happens to your character, but he or she won't tell you, doesn't it drive you crazy a little bit? Like, come on, just tell me. Does that happen a lot? Or Debbie, how about you first? You know what
I usually let us just read the whole script through, so I usually know what I'm, and they'll like hand me a script on the spot and just tell me what to bring and what they have, you're going to be this today. So I've done that a lot with the B World, so I think I'm used to just jumping in.
How about you, Victoria?
So, I haven't yet had a script or a situation where I don't know what happens to the character.
That's great. Yeah.
But I'm totally open. But I can see how that would be maybe a little bit disconcerting at the beginning, but then you just go for the ride and you're like, hey, whatever.
I mean, that's why you're professionals, because you're so good at what you do. How about you, Solomon?
Take it and run with it.
Yeah, right, Debbie. Yeah. How about you, Solomon? Would you wrap? You kind of touched on it before, I know, but
this is the one.
If you had a choice, what would you go with? Knowing everything that happens, or like it does with END TITUS, where we find out?
I think it depends on the project in that sense. And here, I got used to it. I've been on this since 2020 in that sense, and I've gotten used to it, like not knowing. So for this thing, it works in that sense, because every time I thought, it was going in this direction, no, Delmar's going this direction.
Yeah.
And that's the one element of surprise to it. And I feel it kind of helped the performance by not knowing, because then if I know what's going to happen, maybe as an actor, I want to imply something in the dialogue of something in the future, but not knowing kind of helps in that.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of interviewing the animator, Pedro Musa, recently, and listen to this. He said that as an animator, for every 2 minutes of animation on screen, it takes him 10 days. want to
I
mention,
took an animation class in college just for the heck of it.
yeah.
And it was so intense. It was so hard. It was really fun, but
how was it
that, I mean, it was rough because we were doing hand animation. Like I think, does this guy use a program? I mean, it's still hard, whatever he's doing.
Yeah, he uses a program, he
uses
said.
a program. So we were doing everything by hand, and we worked for weeks, and I think we ended up with 30 seconds.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I am so impressed with people who have any kind of visual artistry and B, who have patience like that.
Yeah, well, I'm older than the three of you probably put together, added up. But I remember when I was a kid, they used to have those little flip books where the and the individual pictures, and it looks like it's motion. That's what it must be like.
Oh yes. When you flick them real quick.
Yeah, right, Debbie?
Yeah. Yes, I've seen, and they still have them around. I go to these old places, antique places, and they have them.
Markets, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some of those.
Do you, Solomon? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm trying to figure out where I have some. I might have one in the room here, but I'm not sure.
We're gonna just watch you find it. We're gonna do it until you find it.
Oh yeah, go find it, Solomon. We can see it. I did recently at the music video. And we were
now listen, before
we were talking about how many minutes it takes to record something. All day I recorded this music video for 15 minutes. For 2 minutes of a video.
You know, Victoria, I saw the Dunkin' Donuts commercial that you did on your resume, on your reels. How long did that take you?
Oh my God, that's so funny that you asked that. So I got there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we didn't start shooting until 9 p.m.
Why?
Yeah. There were a lot of technical things on that shoot. Like usually, I don't think that's the norm.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, it's not. It hasn't been the norm for me. So we started shooting by 9 p.m. and then we finished at like 2 a.m.
Celebrate the holidays with delicious Dunkin' coffee. Stop by Dunkin' Donuts for 2 K-Cup boxes for $15.99 or 3 pounds of packaged coffee for $19.99. America runs on Dunkin'.
And yeah, like you just said, it was 2 seconds of of footage. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to let the audience know as well that I through email and speaking before we started recording, luckily for me and for all of us, Victoria and Debbie are going to come back with separate shows, and we're going to really spotlight their careers. Being today, we're really talking about END TITUS, but I want all of you to know that we're going to get into this 13-hour commercial shoot, Victoria, all things like that, Debbie, next time you guys are on. So I want the audience to look forward to that. But what, Victoria, your website is victoriasavage.net, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can get all the information for your IMDb page there. It'll be on the screen too, of course. And Debbie, you're DebbieD.com, DEBBIE, of course, for Debbie, right? Debbie D.
Yes. I have a few different ways to, an IMDb page, a Facebook page, DeviantArt page, Instagram, whatever you want. But if you want to go right to the website, it's DebbieD.com, yes.
And we can, Victoria, we can get all that info on your victoriasavage.net.
There are two main, you can go to victoriasavage.net or the Victoria Savage on Instagram. And if you want to see anything that I'm working on, it's savageproductionsllc.com.
And as our listeners can see, it's right on the screen right now too as we speak. And Solomon, your IMDb page can be found at endtitusvdm.com, correct?
As well as all the information on all the cast members. Go to the cast page. You did such a wonderful job, Steve, of putting the website together. It's linked to everybody. You can see who's in this amazing ensemble, as well as believe it or not, the influence for the series in 2011, I think was it 2011, that he did the live action version. that Delmar did 2 seasons of it to give viewers an idea of what the series was like live action wise. It's on the website. A lot of good stuff. Definitely check it out. EndTITUSVDM.com.
You know, I'm embarrassed. I had to look up what VDM stood for. I wasn't even sure. It's video digital manga, I believe, right?
Absolutely good manga, because that's the style of the
Right. I mean, I'm here. I am trying to get the website together and said, I don't even know what VDM means, but I found it. That's what it stood for. So, listen, I want to thank the 3 of you. Let's go around the horn once more. Let us know, you know, briefly what to look forward to, what's going on. And of course, like I said, Victoria, Debbie, we'll have separate shows with you soon. Solomon, I love when you come on. You'll be on many times as well. What do you have coming up? What can we look forward to? And we'll get more into this when we speak with you, but how about quickly now?
Sure. I'm writing a web series called Berta May and Balula. It's about 2 half sisters who love to hate each other. It's a dark comedy. I have a lot of half sisters, so you can see that comes from. It's been really fun. We have 2 more episodes to shoot, and then we'll set it out into the world.
In real life, you have half sisters.
Yes, I have
a
bunch of half siblings.
That's clever.
Right, what you know.
Yeah, exactly. How about you, Debbie?
I wrote a short that's going to be in a trilogy that'll be out probably early January, and putting together all Scream Queens for the Chiller Theater this year.
That's in October, Halloween weekend. Solomon,
Yes.
Yeah, Solomon, I don't know. Are you still? Are you going to ask Debbie to scream for us today, or?
Absolutely, and not to mention,
Oh no!
you might scream on episode 9, which is something
yeah.
that Debbie is known for. And I was there in a room at a convention, the Gotham Nostalgia Show, where somebody asked her to scream. And I kid you not, she did, and security came running right in. That's how loud. I mean, she was. Literally, security thought something was going on. You know, somebody got hurt.
I don't want Debbie. I don't want the neighbors to come running. Are you okay with getting the screen, or you want to wait till next time? Have you got a scream in you?
I do have the windows. It's so nice out. I might be able to tone it down a little bit, but that brought up something else. How we brought the cops in Texas filming a movie. Yeah, and brought the cops. And I had just got done my scenes for that day, and as I was leaving, the cops were coming. And I'm like, wow, the cops are coming. I'm so glad I just got finished this. And they were coming because of my scream, and I was only passing them. But
I hope they brought the camera when you were behind bars. No.
That's okay. I could do like a little mini one.
Okay, let's mini it. And that is why you're the ultimate scream queen, Debbie. Solomon, what do you have coming up?
I can't wait to hear it in the episode 9.
Episode
Leave it to
9.
Delmar. You know, he did a very good job, I have to say, in terms of casting this whole thing, because of both Debbie, Victoria, as well as even Tara Erickson. You know, and this episode has a horror theme to it. You know,
and you know what's great, Solomon? I mean, we have, besides yourself, I mean, such talent in Victoria, Debbie, and Tara in this one episode. It's like, here you go, everybody. You got 3 great new characters coming in one episode. It's so much to look forward to. And, you know, Victoria, props to you. Debbie, props to you. Solomon, always props to you. I mean,
I think my character's going to come back.
nice.
If possible. I would love to hear her sing in an episode because Debbie's actually a singer as well.
Well,
She's
how
got
about
amazing
how about
singing.
Victoria too with musical theater and dance? I mean, how about a duet with
Wow.
Stephen and Sherry? I think.
Yes, believe it or not, if you look at this cast here, Debbie, Victoria, Tara does it too, Demi Davis as well. There are a lot of singers in this cast.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, Delmar, if you're watching this, get them to sing. It's hard, believe it or not, it's harder to get their songs on an episode than it is to get on the actual show. It's a little bit easier to get on the show than to get your songs in an episode. Trust me, I've learned that on this one.
Right. Yes. You guys are. What's that, Debbie?
I was just showing an album, but we were talking about music.
Hold it up again, please.
So
Very cool.
that was my song.
Cool.
This has been used in a few movies.
I want you in my life for all of time, forever and ever. I want you in my life to be just mine, my only treasure now. I gotta get through somehow, but how do I get to you right now? You know I've been around the whole wide world.
Both Victoria and Debbie, I've known for a long time. I've known Victoria since 2007. She
Wow.
was at Sundays in the City, March Movie Marathon. She got to introduce the filmmakers, do the Q&A with them. And then she ended up going out west. But we ended up doing the X-Men fan radio series for Carl Dudden recently. Though I can say in this episode 9, me and Victoria are not going to be on the same side, though. Hopefully, Victoria, I'm gonna have to,
It's okay.
do
Some
chat
heavy
with
acting comes in because you guys are friends.
And with Debbie, I've known her, I think, since 2009, since when I first met her. I've worked with her also 3 times on both the Clive Unger's Madam X, which won for Best Actor at the Winter Film Awards back in 2013, I think it was.
What shade is her skin?
Excuse me?
Your wife or your girlfriend?
Oh, no, yes, it's my girlfriend.
Oh. Well, we have many colors. And what does she like?
Reds. But something that won't ever come off. She's always saying that.
Well, the rouges and the mauves are nice. And they won't rub off. The crimson is the nicest, but has a tendency to come off.
I'll take them off.
Good choice.
Oh, actually, I'll buy one that you haven't touched.
Why? My arm's clean.
I'm sure it is, but just take the unopened one.
And I worked with her on A Story About Ian in the Dean Roderick commercial, which is also on YouTube, which she is hysterical in that with Gary Scudero as this really annoying couple in that funny commercial, which is online.
Those pictures amazing. Our 15-year anniversary, incredible stuff there. I don't know if it's a special camera or what technique you use. They were incredible, right, honey? They were the best.
Unbelievable. And don't forget the airplane coming by with the banner falling down with our names on it. Oh my God!
Amazing stuff there. We owe you so much.
Because one thing I could definitely see from this cast, they're so multi-talented. I could definitely see Tara, Debbie, and Victoria work on projects together because both Tara and Victoria are both in the West Coast, not far from each other. Tara's also done horror stuff, including her film A Real Killjoy, which is where, Debbie, I can definitely see you, because I know you go back and forth between East Coast and West Coast. I can see you being in Tara's films as well. You know, she's doing her
Well,
zombie stuff.
we definitely should to intermingle. There's so much going on. We need to team up.
Not to mention,
love that. Love that.
because Victoria, you had Dunkin' Donuts. Tara was known for did a lot of the Little Caesars pizza commercials that she was on. I recognize her from those pizza commercials. I'll never forget seeing it in a movie theater, that commercial that she was in. You know, so we got all the product placements, Little Caesars. What's going on here.
I'll have to flash the logos up.
And I can tell you, having the three of you, as well as Deanna returning, who Deanna, again, she was one of the hosts in the 2006 Sundays in the City, as well as in David's Apartment. And here, this is her second voice role, which I'm curious to see what voice is she going to be doing. You know, this is really, we started with a bang with the first episode. We're now ending on a bang, where this whole series coming together. It's definitely, I know a season 2 is in the works, and we're definitely pushing it up there. And as you can see by what I'm wearing, for the people watching, merchandising is coming soon.
I like it.
Merchandising.
Very nice shirt.
Where the
I
real
noticed
money
that.
when the movie is made. My quote from Mel Brooks from Spaceballs.
And for a few extra dollars,
that happens.
For a few extra dollars, you can buy a worn T-shirt by Solomon. No,
Signed. Only if it's
signed. Exactly.
We're working on your shirt, Debbie.
Yes.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask real quick. How did you guys like the way your characters looked from where you saw them, from the design, from the storyboards?
I loved it. Loved it. I'm so fascinated by people who have that visual artistic talent. I'm just like, how do you do it? Yeah, it was great.
Isn't that something, Victoria and Debbie, like you see your character and say, this is me, you know, I remember the first time I saw my character, I was like, wow, you know, do you get that feeling like, wow, pretty cool?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did like it. I like my character's look. Yes.
How about you, Solomon? Did you like Robert?
Oh, by the way, I actually liked your, because when you had Pedro on last month, you said them, thank you for making the fixer have hair and glasses.
Yeah, there's not much going on underneath. But, you know, grass doesn't grow on a busy street. What can I tell you, you know?
As I looked, I thought it was cool, but I think the big question, I showed it to my niece, Sylvia, and she thinks the series is cool, but she would have liked them much better had it been something she recognized, like Superman, Spider-Man, or something that she's familiar with. When it's something that's original, it's a little bit harder for her to get into right away. But because she was like, oh, it's cool, but you're wearing Spider-Man or Superman, you know, that was she liked it better when I was the voice of Elmo in The Curse of Elmo. Even though
Jacob, where are you? Jacob.
Even though that was for her.
Hey, you know, I wanted to mention too, just before we say goodbye, on Victoria's website and on Debbie's website, click on the reels and see these two amazing actors in action with all their wide range. And Solomon, on your IMDb page, you have the reel there. I'm speaking with three such talented people, everybody.
Victoria, going on with the reels, she's got amazing reels. Debbie as well. You have to also see Debbie in the movie Hollywood Warrioress, where she's Morgana. Is that correct, Debbie? It's directed by Debbie Dutch, another Scream Queen as well. Even our friend Hector Bosa appeared in it as well. I think the film is online. Debbie, with Hollywood Warrioress that Debbie Dutch directed, that you were amazing in that as well.
Oh, thank you.
Glad to hear it. Well, listen, everybody, I can't thank the three of you enough. I look so much forward to talking to all of you again and in more depth with Victoria and when Debbie gets back with us. Solomon, you're my buddy, you know, we'll always be back and forth. But Victoria, Debbie, such a pleasure to speak with you, and I look so forward to seeing you guys in episode 9, how it turned out, and speaking with you on your whole careers next time we talk. Okay?
Thank you so much, Stephen and Debbie. It was wonderful to talk to all of you.
It was such a pleasure speaking with all three of you. Thank you so much, and we'll talk
to
again.
all of you.
We'll talk again, okay? Thank you. Neato is the way I describe how it was talking with Victoria, Debbie, and Solomon. And also neato is how I describe how it was talking with Tara Erickson. So let's get right to it with the award-winning Miss Erickson. We're going to lead into our conversation with a delightfully eclectic 4-minute collection. Try to say that 3 times fast. But definitely a delightfully eclectic 4-minute collection of scenes from some of Tara's movies. We'll start off with a comedy reel and then the drama reel, and check out the range of this actress.
You didn't pick up. Don't smoke. Can I get one of those? No, don't give me one. You didn't pick up. He said he'll always pick up. Make a note of that.
This I don't have time
So
for.
if I ever need to talk to my editor in a timely manner, he'll be there. Make time.
Well, if you're in a mood.
I'm not in a mood.
This is a mood.
Yeah, well, I got it.
Do you work directly under the assistant to the vice president?
Oh, wait. No, that's me. So unless you got a promotion, like right now, and a really big one, I suggest you run along and do what I tell you. There's no pressure. So don't get in your own way.
Yo, en serio, me dices a mí que no la calle cuando tú eres la reina de meter la pata.
Whoa! Más despacio, por favor. Okay, just because I don't want to be confined to the prosaic boilerplate of contemporary courtship.
You talk as you have a boyfriend.
It's easier that way.
Star.
Oh yeah, bear with me. Hi guys.
Wait, what? Jen, you look...
So the Great Barrier Reef disappearing just has no effect on you, huh? Or the fact that we're likely living in a giant simulation and none of this is real? Shit! What? Who invited Vegas PD here? I told you guys what they did to me at the Bellagio. Right? I'm hot blooded. I'm hot. I'm hot. Wow. Little Miss Truth and Justice for All turns out to be a little slut.
Not a slut, but...
Didn't have to pass the detective exam to figure that one out. If you go swimming in a lake, there's a possibility that you could inhale an amoeba and it will literally eat your brain. Done.
Great.
They never get my good side. Hey, so what I just said there was really hilarious and you didn't laugh, which kind of makes me feel how you look, like a silly little girl. I know you. You're that guy from the Think Big channel.
Yeah. Carl Heistrom.
Wow, they're sending Carl the Storm Chaser out. This must be a pretty bad one.
You're not staying, right?
Why does everybody seem so concerned about that today? I appreciate the advice, but I have responsibilities, Storm or not. The best? My children have been sick and distant since you got here. You're doing something. I don't know how, but I know it's you. Banks, I'm gonna need you to help or get out. Do you understand me? Yes. Good. Do you know CPR? Tony, he's just... No time. Do you know CPR? Yes. Good. Start. Exactly when I say I'm gonna need you to inject her. Do I need you to vein? If you can. But I'm not asking for miracles here. Just get it in her. You had a daughter. Would you help her lose her virginity?
Putting our son on meds and turning him into a zombie is not an option for me.
Yeah, well, you helping him lose his virginity is not an option for me.
So you're okay with the possibility of another fight? Him being taken away from us, put into a reform school or some other program?
When he goes around bragging about how his father got him a hooker, don't come to me when the cops investigate you for sexual abuse. They look like death warmed over. It's like this whole thing has been escalating. The scary movie, the park, and now this. It's like she's causing it, almost. Is that crazy?
Wait, are you trying to say that you think I'm feeling this way because I'm overprotective? I don't know. This feels different. It's not just me being type A.
Number one, I never beg. Number two, people should be working instead of gawking. And number three, are you looking, Melanie?
I am. Shame it's going to waste.
Meet me in the copy room in 6 minutes.
What?
You're gonna show me exactly what I'm wasting when we meet in the copy room. After that, we can talk a little bit more about your marketing budget.
And how about those last 4 minutes of acting from our next guest, is Tara Erickson. Tara, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'll tell you, you are a Renaissance woman. I mean, you act, you direct, you write, you sing, which we'll get to a little later on in the interview as well. And I know this is an unfair question, but I'm going to throw it at you anyway. Is there any one aspect of your career, let's say writing, directing, acting, which is kind of like your nearest and dearest to your heart, or are they kind of like they're all your babies and you can't really decide?
It would definitely be acting. Acting is always first. I mean, I started directing mostly out of just to have the opportunity to act in more of my stuff that I thought was cool, which is also the writing aspect, to make sure I had more hands in the aspects of like, oh, I want it to be funnier or more dramatic. But it's definitely acting is number one. And then next would be like writing and directing. And that was mostly just out of like, I want to do more acting. So I'm going to write and produce and direct my own stuff.
I mean, comedy and drama, there is a thin line. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, there is.
What's tougher? It would seem almost like comedy would be tougher because sometimes it's even harder to believe, if you know what I mean. But which is tougher for you, or are they equally okay?
They're equally okay. I feel like comedic timing, I've always had a natural timing or delivery in regards to comedy, which is why I tend to book a lot of comedic things. And that seems to come easier to me in regards to like YouTube videos or sketches that I do on Instagram. Comedy is a little bit easier also sometimes for me to write. But in regards to acting, drama, I have a lot of fun with because it tends to get to like the heart of the matter and feels sometimes more believable because we're dealing with a subject that actually matters versus comedy is like you can kind of do whatever.
Yeah, broader, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I was going to ask you this a little later, but I think it's a good time to say it now. One of your, oh my goodness, brilliant short films is Breakdown. And I am always amazed at actors like yourself who can cry on command on camera. How do you do that? I know it sounds like a rhetorical question, but what do you bring out? What do you think of? How do you even make yourself cry? And the scene was so believable, the one I'm talking about with you sitting in the car in Breakdown, which I urge everyone to check out. But
oh, thank you. I think you're talking about in Prime Your Life. I think, is that the one that you're?
Oh, you know what? Maybe I am, because I lost my mind about 5 years ago, and now it's.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I tend to think of. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Tara. I think I must have been mistaken. I'm thinking of the one when you were crying in the shower, and then later you're sitting in the car.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Oh my God, you actually watched that. That's awesome because I was like, Breakdown. What is he talking about? That is a short film that I made during the pandemic. Yes. And that was me bored at my house during lockdown going like, how can I somehow make art or express the way that I'm feeling that I think a lot of other people would relate to, and something that they could watch from me and go, oh my God, I feel just like that. This is very true to how I'm feeling right now during lockdown. And I think it was just really lockdown that got to me and thinking like, oh man, you know, this not only sucks for me, but also a lot of other people. And I think like in films, like in a film that I was in called The Nightmare House, I had to cry a lot. And Yeah, I thought about certain things in my life that was that would make me a little teary-eyed. I would do, substitution. And then also sometimes you can just do, deep breathing and sort of think about a thought. And then once, if the writing is good enough, it's easier. It's easy. It's easy to say words that are kind of sad or when you're angry and make emotions come out. There's sometimes where I do have to substitute an emotion of think of something that makes me, a little teary-eyed to help me get there.
You're brilliant, Tara. I mean,
Oh.
in a word, you're brilliant. I mean, looking at your acting skill, acting reels, your skills are just incredible.
Oh, that means a lot. Thank you.
Really, really, really impressive. Being you mentioned prime of our life, prime of your life. I'm sorry. Why don't we can we talk about that for a bit? First of all, congratulations. At last count, 5 Best Actress awards in film festivals for that.
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations. What can you tell us about Prime of Your Life?
Well, Prime of Your Life is it's a story about an actress, which is like, I hate talking about, not hate talking about it, but sometimes when I explain the film, it's sort of like, oh, that idea has been done before. But we tried to spin it on its head in regards to an actress trying to get to where she wants to be. And the road it's a struggle. Like it's a tough path. And I wanted to show that on screen, but also do it in a fun way, in a different way that an audience hasn't seen before. And take people, I guess, on a journey if they're not aware of like acting or auditioning or what happens in the business. And used a little bit of a real life circumstance and wrote that into Prime Your Life, and then wrote in some funny moments that I thought would really work for a short film to have it all come together. So people, acting honestly in the business, if you're not a name yet and you're really just trying to stay on path and working a lot, your life is a dark comedy. I feel like it's a roller coaster, and Prime Your Life shows a bit of that.
As our listeners can see, we have your IMDb page on screen, and also I want to mention, of course, your website, taraerickson.com. Do you always put a bit of yourself in your acting or in your writing?
Yeah, I think I do. It's easier for me to write from a point of view that is all different parts of me. But if I'm needing to write a different character, that's when the broader version of me, the comedic aspect, meaning in A Real Killjoy, which is a different short that I made, there's a character called Melissa, and she's sort of like, she's Southern and she says like son of a toaster, and she's kind of wacky. And that is more one side of me that is like broad comedy. And then Sam Jones, who's the lead, who I play, is a woman of very few words and just sort of a badass who's surrounded by incapable survivors in regards to this post-apocalyptic world. And she's the one who's saving everyone. So it's sort of like the stronger, more independent version of me in Sam Jones.
Pick up. Are you there?
Yeah.
So I think, in my writing, I try to make it as differential as I can, but I think in every aspect, there's a little bit of me in every character.
Yeah, an artist like yourself probably can't help that, huh? I mean, a little bit of yourself has to seep through, I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely, and I wouldn't say that I'm, a writer first, it's just me writing out of wanting to do more stuff. So I think the really brilliant writers are the ones that can write 10 different voices and have them all sound completely different. And for me, I haven't tried to do that yet because writing isn't that strong to me. It's more acting. But I find it very intriguing, writers who can do that.
I've heard, I'm sure, I'm willing to bet you've even experienced this, but with writers such as yourself, sometimes a character almost begins to write itself, if you know what I mean. That, you start out one way and it just takes another turn without you even planning it. Have you experienced that at all?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, specifically with Sam Jones, I just knew her character right away of like, she's a badass. She doesn't say a lot of words. She kind of reminded me of Rambo or a Sliced Alone stuff. It made me think of that, where it's like,
Well, that comes across. It's really fun to watch. It definitely comes across.
oh, that's great. Yeah. I mean, it's more that you're showing her character rather than speaking and saying words. So Sam was pretty easy to write, but also Prime Your Life kind of came pretty quickly in regards to what I would say and how I would act. And there's some that's like, it's tough, I'm staring at a blank page or a half a page for a while, but mostly once I understand where it's headed, the story and the point of view of the character, it's much easier. And then I can sort of get on a roll, put it away for a few days, come back to it, and then re-edit.
You're a multi-award-winning actress. How does that feel? That's got to be a great feeling.
It's good. It's been really, really great. And the reason I made the shorts that I've made was to get more recognition for my name, in order to hopefully get more acting roles and more opportunities. And it's worked out, because every short I've made, is a huge financial burden and time burden on me and the people involved, because it's all indie stuff. So there's people showing up for me for free. It's coming out of my pocket to submit these things to film festivals, and also just to do the pre-production, the filming, and the post-production, and being, also an editor and making decisions about sound and music and stuff like that. It's just a lot of time. But the reason I put all of my efforts into these things is to build up my name and recognition, which has been great, and it's worked. It's worked in regards to the films that I've submitted, and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm very, very grateful. I was like, oh, I'm glad that it's worked out the way that I've wanted it to, where people have recognized either my talents or my writing or just the things that I make.
Yeah, I am sure many people watching this say, wait, what, hasn't she been on the, haven't I seen her in the Little Caesar commercials? That was a great campaign for you.
Yeah.
What's it like making a commercial? Are they tedious, or, but man, Little Caesar, and our mutual friend Solomon Chertok said he was sitting in the theater when he saw the Little Caesar commercial. He goes, "It's Tara."
Yeah.
Saw it. That's gotta be cool. That's gotta be a great feather in your cap to be picked for commercials.
Oh yeah, that was one of the most fun commercials I've ever done. I did 2 spots for them.
Okay, I got it.
Well, it's got lots of pepperoni, and the crust is brushed with a buttery garlic sauce and sprinkled with Parmesan.
I mean, we could do something sort of like that, ish.
Wait, is that a cheese and pepperoni stuffed crust?
Little Caesars!
It's a pepperoni ambush!
No, 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 no!
No!
Little Caesars!
We're not Big Pizza, we're Little Caesars. The new pepperoni stuffed crust, just $10. Pizza.
Or 3, and it was my most favorite commercial yet. And I have done a lot of commercials. It's mainly how I pay a lot of my bills, is I'm a commercial actor, obviously, along with other stuff. But working in commercials is a lot of fun, because your day is always different. Most of the stuff that I go out for commercially, and most commercials on TV, have a comedic aspect to them, which is why I love them so much. They're quick, they're funny, they have great writing, they get to the point. And when you walk on set, you go, you do your job, and after one day, you're done.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy and quick and a lot of fun.
And it lives much longer than that one day you worked on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Tara, you mentioned, and I wrote it down, I don't want to, you mentioned A Real Killjoy before, briefly about it, and its sequel I want to talk to you about. But congratulations, there's a screening at the Macabre Film Fest later this month. I believe it's September 29th, if I wrote it correctly. I mentioned Solomon Chertok. He's had 2 of his films in that fest in the past, Nowhere Room and Clive Unger's Madam X. But with A Real Killjoy, just to have your film screened? Is it a nerve-wracking thing? Are you nervous when it happens? And what's it like to have a film screened at a festival?
Yeah.
Or is that rhetorical as well? I mean, I'm assuming kind of nerve-wracking.
Oh, I mean, I was definitely very nervous. The first festival that I saw where my film was on a big screen was at Screamfest, which is almost a year ago today. And that was very nerve-wracking because now I'm surrounded by an audience, and I'm less concerned about, well, the film is already done. I kind of know what's happening here, but it's in my gut and in my heart of like, oh God, I hope people laugh or they get it, that they're engaged, because sometimes you can go to festivals and there's a lot of shorts that I don't know, that kind of miss the mark. But it may just be the producing of the festival and people choosing certain things that I think, I'm not sure why that was chosen, or it's not as entertaining, or I can feel the audience sort of not paying attention or not being engaged. And because The Real Killjoy is only 3 minutes, it gets set into a block with a lot of other short films because it's easy to squeeze in there. And I was grateful that people, you know, laughed and at the point where you should laugh and be enjoying it. So it's definitely nerve-wracking, but it's also a lot of fun.
I'll tell you, Tara, I give indie filmmakers like yourself so much credit. I think being an indie filmmaker even forces you, or a person, an indie filmmaker, to be even more creative. Whereas if you had a huge budget, you know, you may, I can do that, no problem. But when you're indie, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but your creative juices have to be on constantly.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have to write. I can't really be as creative as I would like to in the writing process because I'm constantly thinking about location and budget. Meaning I can't write this because I don't have anywhere to shoot that. Or if I wanted to, it'd cost me $1,000. And then in regards to special effects or cool things that I might want to happen, that's either, can I afford a special effects makeup artist to put a knife through a head? If not, then I have to cheat it. And we just use blood and turn the head a different way. And maybe it's just a shot from down below and blood sprays on my face and we don't see the zombie actually getting hurt. There's a lot of cheats that have to go into the filming process if you don't have a lot of funds. But it does make you more creative, and there's still plenty of ways to write around it. And I try to do that constantly. I mean, I made 2 other things that are like 2 minutes. One is called The Ritual, another one's called Paranoia. And those are all really, really simple. And I really just needed one other person there, kind of like, oh, spray blood on my face. And then in Paranoia, there's a friend who came to play a monster that happens at the very end. And those are just small things that I know that I can accomplish to add a little bit more production value in regards to a short. So it's not just 2 people talking to each other the whole time. I want to try to add a little something different. And if I can swing it on a low budget, that's basically what indie filmmaking is. Ooh, sorry.
You've done it so well, Tara. You really, really.
Oh, thank you.
And I urge everyone, go to taraerickson.com and you can get links to all these things we're talking about. And I do want to let our audience know, Tara, Tara is one of the most busiest actors around. And she's gone above and beyond to get this segment done for us because she's been so busy going to callbacks and rehearsals and things like that. And Tara, you would email me and say, hey, Steve, I can do 15 minutes now. And then of course I maybe wasn't. So I can't thank you enough. I just have a couple more things to talk about, but I wanted to know how thankful and grateful I am that you found the time to talk to us.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to be here.
And we're happy to have you. Now you play Mary in END TITUS. Tell us about playing Mary in END TITUS. And of course, it hasn't aired yet as this interview airs, so we have to be careful with spoilers, as I'm sure you're aware. But what can you tell us about Mary?
I mean, she's pretty simple and straightforward and seems like she's the glue to the friendship in regards to END TITUS. I didn't have too many lines in it, but I brought more just like me to it with a bit of a younger voice. because she seemed like she wanted to not make any problems. And also in regards to the friendship that happens, she would be the person to solve those problems or step in to make sure everybody's happy. And that's sort of married to a T in regards to the one episode I did, which was a lot of fun.
Kind of like Tara Erickson.
Yeah.
Wearing all these hats and being the glue that keeps it all together, being an indie artist.
Trying to.
Have you ever done voiceover acting before this?
Yeah, I actually have a voiceover reel. It's on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And
Sorry.
so, oh no, you're all good. It's a little buried in there because I don't do a ton of voiceover work, but I definitely go out and have auditions for voiceover stuff. It's harder. LA is very weird in regards to voiceover. I don't have a studio yet or a super soundproofing room, but I will still get auditions that I can record with like a mic and do them at my house. And my reel gets me auditions, which is great. I recorded that a couple of years ago in a studio. But I really enjoy voiceover work. It's acting, and I can do it from the comfort of my home, which is awesome.
In your PJs or whatever time of day it would be even.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, do you just use a regular microphone?
Yeah, I just have a regular microphone, but sometimes I can do it right through my cell phone. So I'll put my cell phone on my couch, and because the cushions help reduce like any sound noise, and then talk into my phone, which is laying on the couch, and that actually produces pretty good sound.
Right. A couple of quick things, and I excuse me. I hope that in the future, in the near future, I would love to really delve into your career in much more detail. Can I entice you to come back again in the future, and we'll really spend some more time?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, thank you. I would appreciate that very much. But I do want to mention Dream the Lonely Dragon, your children's book. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Drew the Lonely Dragon is a book that I wrote for kids who might just be struggling with a loss of someone, or maybe even struggling to find friends. I lost my mom about 5 years ago, and it's more a book coming from the heart in regards to there's kids and there's people out there who people always looked at me and was like, you're young to have lost your mom, because it was only 30 at the time. But then I thought, yeah, and there's actually kids out there who probably lost a parent or loved one. And I wanted to write a story about it, but also make the journey fun and entertaining, and that at the end that they are taught or brought a lesson that love is just always around them. Even in loss, love can always be found, was my main sentence in starting to write Drew the Lonely Dragon. Is I wanted to just bring that to kids and everyone.
That's beautiful. And we can find that on Amazon, the usual place we would look for books?
Yeah, exactly. Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You can also find it on drewthelonelydragon.com.
Oh, okay.
And I think there's also a link on my webpage too.
Great. I see a guitar in the background. Talk about a Renaissance woman. You sing, you write songs. Have you ever used any of your songs in your films?
I haven't used any of my songs because I don't really write too much anymore, but I do play a ton of cover songs and sing all the time. About 2 years ago, there's a movie that came out called MICU, and they hired a songwriter to write a song that I sing in the movie. And I play my guitar and sing it, and that was a lot of fun. It was great that someone was using my musical ability or ability to sing in a film. And I really enjoyed that.
Well, Tara, I encourage everyone, check out thetaraerickson.com. Pretty much all the information we need will be on there, right? And links to the YouTube page and IMDb and everything else. And they've been seeing it on screen as well. Tara, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate you coming on. It really is a joy to meet you. I've admired your work, leading up to this interview. I've been doing all things Tara Erickson, and you really are what a talented person you are. And I just want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for watching all my stuff, and I'm glad that you like it.
Everyone will love it. Check it out, everybody. And we'll speak again sometime, Tara.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And there it was, my interview with Tara Erickson. And really looking forward to seeing Tara, Debbie D, Victoria Savage, and of course, Solomon Chertok in the season finale, episode 9 of END TITUS VDM. Now, as always, just check out all the episodes of END TITUS at endtitusvdm.com. Speaking of episodes, episode 6, Pray, has been accepted to screen at the Urban Showcase Expo Film Festival on November 4th and 5th at 42nd Street in New York City at the AMC Theater Complex. Now, Solomon Chertok, our old pal Solomon Chertok, will be representing END TITUS in Delmar Burkett's stead. Now, you know, Delmar is the creator, but he won't be able to make the trip to New York City for that weekend of the film fest. But Solomon and other cast members of END TITUS will be there to say hello to you and all that. They'll be there for all that, you know, Titus-y stuff. Okay, Titus-y stuff. I'm even going to buy some shoe polish and polish up my shoes to be there. Now, I play the fixer in END TITUS, so in case anything needs fixing at the festival, the fixer will be there to lend my usual expertise in resolving the situation. See, I played the fixer and I didn't even sound like the fixer right then, but anyway. Now, get your tickets for the festival. If you're going to be in the New York City area, you can get your tickets right at the website. There it is, right there for you to see. Now, if you want to check out the episode that'll be screened at the festival, episode 6, Pray, just go to the END TITUS website, endtitusvdm.com. Yeah. Now, the festival is Friday, November 4th. Friday, November 4th is the Red Carpet Awards celebration. And then the next day, Saturday, November 5th, there'll be screenings, panels, exhibitors, after-party fun. That calls for extra shoe polish. The after-party at Saturday night. But actually, here's Solomon from a few years ago at the Urban Film Festival. And yes, he's with Ty Mock from The Last Dragon. Ty Mock, as a matter of fact, will be back at the festival this year, so you get to meet him. And I think we're finally going to see that martial arts showdown between Ty Mock and Solomon Chertok. Mock versus Tok. And I think on that note, with that very, very poor attempt at humor, I'm going to say thanks to all of you for watching. We always appreciate it when you give up your time to give us a few minutes. So until next time, keep on rocking, everybody, and we love you. See you next time.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here!
Let's get out of here!
Let's get out of here!
Come on. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here.